welcome to Buzz Banter. I'm Das Hat.
And I'm Rinwin.
And today we've got another movie review for you.
Okay, we're talking about Madagascar 3. Yes. So, pretty much starting off, this movie was like at top in the box office for like at least 2 weeks. I don't know if it's still up there, I haven't checked, but it was definitely good. It's entertaining, but like, it's entertaining. It's visually amazing. Like some of the scenes that were in there like took my breath away.
No, and it comes out from nowhere. Like
yeah.
The beginning of the film is very much like what you've seen from the other Madagascar films, and then it just hits this high note about 2/3 of the way through the film, and it's just spectacular. And then it comes back down a little bit, and then it goes back up, and then
yeah,
levels out.
I mean, story-wise, like, it was okay.
Well, story-wise, even the first one was just okay.
Yeah, but like, there's so many things that make up for it. Like we love the cast. You know, Chris Rock is so funny. You know, Alex and whatnot, and they introduce these new characters that they always introduce a new character in each of the movies. And in the second one, some of them are still not as likable, but you do in this one. You do definitely like get an attachment to the newer characters.
You really do. I think they took a little more time with the other characters. They gave them a little bit more of a diversity compared to the new characters that they had in the second film.
Definitely, yeah.
So essentially, plot of the movie, the penguins left them at the end of the second film, decided to take all the gold and jewels that they got when they were looking for water, and just went off to go gambling and having fun in Monaco. And Alex has been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for them to come back so that these guys, even though they enjoy staying in Africa, it's kind of worn out its welcome and they want to go back home to the New York Zoo, which is understandable. No matter where you go, no matter how nice it is, you do eventually want to come home. So they decide, you know what? The penguins aren't coming back, let's go hunt them down. So no explanation given as to how, but they end up in Monaco. And they find the penguins and the two chimps living the high life in a hotel room, and that's when things start to go bad. Yeah,
so it pretty much starts off the same way the first movie starts off from this point. You have this sort of escape and the police officers are coming and they're trying to catch them down, and this is actually...
With a Terminator-like woman who is just like...
Except French Terminator. And
fantastic, my God, it's rare that you come across a villain that you instantly fall in love with, but...
She looks a lot like the mother in Tangled, like animation-wise. Like she looks. Oh, because I was actually rewatching Tangled last night, and looking at the face, I was just like, she looks exactly like this police officer in Madagascar, exactly the same.
But the stuff that she's able to physically do is something that you expect out of a Final Fantasy cutscene. It's just insane.
And it's funny because she's using that skill to hunt down lions, out of all animals, out of all the things that you
exactly.
Can
She's just an animal control. She's not like ex-Croatian military or anything.
No.
She is just in animal control, and I think she might actually be. Might be a serial killer. She mentions when she's first introduced that she strangled her first parrot when she was 6 years old, and you're just in the audience going, "I've seen enough Criminal Minds to know that's a warning sign."
Yeah, but she's actually quite frightening. Mostly because of the way she just has this like trudge through everything kind of attitude, and she definitely just trudges through every like obstacle. There's this one scene, and I don't want to spoil too much, but there's this one scene where her entire crew is down, and she pretty much like within the span of like a minute, she managed to get them back on track.
Exactly. All she does is sing a song, and it's beautiful. Like whoever sang that, if it was actually the voice actress that played this woman, kudos to you. You hit those notes perfectly. But like essentially, just the power and emotion of the song get them out of their hospital beds, and they just like crack off their cast and everything. It's hilarious. It's just out of nowhere. This is a lot more zany than any of the other films.
Yeah.
Thus far. And
I think it's definitely like a step up from 2.
Yes.
2 was okay, but I definitely love 3 a lot better. But you need to have 3. It's one of those kind of movies.
Exactly.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I love how they had that Afro Circus remix with "I Like to Move It," because that was one of the things that you loved in the first movie. Like that song was like everywhere when that came out.
Yeah.
And Sachin is so amazing. You see this in Borat. You see this in every movie. He really knows how to like put his character out there, and he's so good at it.
And his range is fantastic. The fact that he could go from doing Borat and Bruno and then play the train conductor or the security agent in Hugo, he has this incredible range, and the work that he does with the King Julian the Lemur is just, it's so much fun.
It's amazing. Yeah, I actually didn't know it was him at first, and when I heard, like, when I found out, I'm like, you know, I can actually believe that, even though it's like sounds nothing like any of his other characters.
But because, well, Ali G just is that talented, apparently. But
my only reserve in this movie, and I did mention this in the article, was the fact that in the first movie, you have that scene where he's trying to explain that he's Alex Lion from the zoo, in the first movie. And then you see, like, you cut in the human's perspective, and you see them going rah 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 rah. So it's obviously that the animals and humans have different language. But in this movie, it's almost as if they have the same language.
Or at least they understand sort of what the other one's doing.
Yeah, because there's certain interactions where, like, the monkey can definitely interact with the humans.
Right, he never speaks. Like, you never have the whole thing where the monkey's trying to talk and all the humans are hearing is, like, chimplather. He's, like, in costume and everything, just, like, moving things around.
They can almost... But there are scenes where Alex is talking to the woman we were talking about earlier, the villain of the scene.
Right.
And I was just like, but in the first movie you clearly said that they cannot understand. But at the same time, like, since she didn't react to it, it could almost be like, oh no, they don't understand what their animals are saying. Like, you can make that argument, but I feel like it's almost weak, in a sense. You know, because, like, it's obvious that they're, like, interacting with each other. Like, to me, when I saw it, it's obvious that they're interacting with each other.
Right, you can make your excuses for it and everything, but the film could have done without it, though having it in there is kind of fun and everything. The actual circus animals are a lot of fun, especially jumping through the hoops. Light that on fire for me.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's this one character who actually, he's a tiger, and his trick is to jump through hoops, like, literally this small.
It's literally just virgin olive oil that he throws on himself, and he just flips, jumps, and you never see him do it. All you hear is a popping sound, and he's on the other side, and people are cheering. And it's really... No, seriously, light that on fire. I want to try it.
But I think you, again, DreamWorks and Pixar are, like, fighting against each other, but both of them always have their, like, brilliant moments. And Madagascar 3, I mean, it's not at the top. It's definitely not at the top.
No.
But it's visually, like, stunning. So stunning, like, to the point where you're just like, and if you watched our Brave review, you hear me talk about how, like, sometimes that's enough to make the film.
Right.
And in this case, like, I was so blown away by the visual effects, even though it didn't make sense, like, gravity-wise and whatnot. But no one cares because they already are talking about how this is great because it's impossible. Like, that was the whole point.
Exactly. Now, that being said, this is a very different sense of humor than what you're used to from the first two. Whereas the first two were a little more geared toward situational comedy. This is a lot of zaniness. This is the closest to, like, an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants we've seen from either, like, Pixar or DreamWorks. It's very, like, sort of out there. And the voice acting is all very good. You don't really have too much in terms of character development. You have a little bit of it when they actually get back to the zoo, and not really much else there. But
it's okay. I don't think the whole point was to have character development either.
No,
like,
it really wasn't.
Like, the whole point of the movie was for entertainment purposes only. Like, the way I saw it. And that is why it succeeds, because it doesn't pretend to be anything else.
Exactly. It doesn't try to impart, like, this great world-shattering lesson or anything like that. It's just the usual sort of believe in yourself, keep trying, and well, the grass always seems greener on the other side of the fence. That being said, like, it is a very entertaining film. Well, we did the Brave review a little while back. Compared to Brave, how did you like this?
I definitely like Brave a lot better. But it's like, I can't compare the two because to me it's like comparing apples and oranges. Like, they're both very different films. Even though they're both animations, I know people like to clump it together, but they're not even on the same scale.
But with the two films out in theaters currently, that comparison's being made, and you brought up the perfect point, which is that they're not the same film. Brave is its own sort of standalone universe and everything. It is trying to impart a couple of lessons, and it's a fun family film and everything. This is just a fun, zany time. You got a lazy afternoon and you want to laugh, go see this film. You don't need to think at all in it, and really you're kind of letting yourself down if you try to start thinking in this film. But that being said, it's a fun film. Definitely check it out. In terms of rating, what would you give it? I always have to go first. You go first.
Okay, let me think. I have to actually think about this one because I don't know. Like, I don't want to give it a 4 because, like,
well, you give Brave a 4. So
yeah. But again, on the standards-wise, it's just for entertainment purposes. So I'm gonna give it like a 3.8.
3.8?
Yeah. I mean, I know it's close to a 4, but it's like not quite there. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, like it's comparable to Brave. I found myself enjoying this film just as much as I enjoyed Brave, but for different reasons.
I like Brave a little bit more. That 2% more.
Fair enough. I'll give this one a 3.6. It's definitely worth watching out. It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
And you'll find yourself definitely enjoying it. Critically, it's as good as the other two films. I like this better than the second.
I liked it better than the second too, yeah.
A lot of people are saying that. I actually found myself more entertained by this one than I did by the first one, but I still like the first one better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Just making sure I'm not losing my mind.
No.
So, yeah, that's Madagascar 3. It's in theaters currently. Check it out. For Buzz Banter, I'm Das Hat.
I'm Rinwin.
And we will see you when we see you then.
I did. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, even though it was nothing like the trailer. Like, I loved it so much.